Hey y'all, this is Dina. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so tonight I am going to make a crayon roll. This one actually was a request by one of the ladies watching my videos recently and asked me if I knew how to make something to store crayons in, so I thought I'd make a quick crayon roll. What I've done is I've taken two pieces of fabric and they measure 8 by 12. And that's my two Mickey fabrics. Then I've also, which I've already pinned down on my fabric, I have taken another piece of fabric that's coordinating, and this one also measures 8 by 12. And as you see, I've gone ahead and I ironed it in half, and I'm laying it across the top of my pretty fabric there. I also have gone ahead and I've ironed on a piece of fusible fleece on the back of this one piece of fabric. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my pins because I want to hold this in place, and the first thing we're going to do is make our little pockets for our crayons. So I got a whole bunch of crayons over here, y'all, and you can make it where you can have two crayons in one little pouch or in one little pocket, or you can make it where each crayon has its own space. So you can kind of measure that one crayon probably would need like at least an inch in between each one. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to do an inch in between each one. And I was going to use my red friction pin. Kind of hard for me to see it on there. So let me find another one of my friction pins. Let's see if this one works. I've got this blue friction pin. I got it actually at Target. And if you don't know what a friction pin is you can draw on your fabric, but it actually is good because once you iron it, the lines will come off. Now I have had some people say, oh, they've had a little problem with friction pins. They didn't always iron off of them. I've never experienced that. So I'm going to start, and this is at 1 inch, and I'm hoping that I can get this line drawn on. Let me make sure my pen's working, y'all. Let me see if I can draw on a piece of paper. There we go. Let's see what's it got here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to draw my first line. Now you don't have to draw the lines on if you don't want to. But I'm afraid if I don't, I might go off and start sewing crooked lines, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go over about every inch, and I actually can line this on my mat here, and I'll be able to see where the inch is. So I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to keep it where the bottom of my fabric is at the bottom on this line right here. So I've got it straight, and I can line my little ruler up at the 1 inch. And I'm going to do this all the way down until I get toward the other end. You can line your one ruler up with the bottom of your fabric so you know you're drawing a straight line. And I'm going to keep going, keeping it all lined up. And go over just a little bit. You could make these a little wider if you want, but I think that this is gonna, each one of these pockets will house one crayon, or you can also use this for colored pencils, something to that sort. Let me try to move this over. Make sure to give myself a little space here. I'm going to line this up and keep going. It doesn't have to be perfect, just do the best you can. Like I said, my ink, I'm going to be able to just iron it right off of my fabric, and I'll do that after I sew my lines. But I have a feeling if I don't do this, I'm going to start sewing crooked, y'all. So I don't want to sew crooked. I want to try to be as straight as I can. And this will probably be the last one until the end. And there we go. I'm going to bring you over here to my sewing machine. I'm going to show you how I'm going to get this tacked down. Y'all, this is the easiest project ever. Okay, let's get on over here to the sewing machine. Okay. So here we go. I got my red thread in, my red bobbin in, And I've got my stitch length on 2.5, a 2.5 stitch length, and my fabric is just plain old good old cotton fabric. So I'm going to start down at this end, and I'm going to put my presser foot down on my fabric, and I'm going to use my down feature. And someone has asked me before what a down feature is. On my machine I have a little button here, and it could make my needle stay up. Whenever it's done sewing, the needle could stay up, but if I use my down feature, it will stay down in the fabric once I lift my foot up off my pedal. So here we go. Gonna give it a start. I'm gonna back stitch, and then I'm gonna go on down. You want to make sure you back stitch because crayons are gonna go in and out of this, and you want to make sure that your fabric doesn't tear. I'm gonna do a little back stitch at the end as well, and then I'm gonna get this one up, and then I'm gonna go to the next row. Easy, right, y'all? So easy so far. So that's the first one. I'm gonna start over here, and I'm gonna finish up. Got a back stitch. I'm gonna go all the way down. You've drawn those lines on, you pretty much have nice straight stitches. Okay, got a little back stitch at the end here. Now, if you wanted to try to make a little quick, if you wanted to do something quick here, you could always turn it and kind of sew along the bottom if you want. And then when you get to the next line, you could always turn it and go back up the stitch, or up the line. And that would save you from having to keep taking it off multiple times. Make sure when you get to the top here, you're gonna back stitch. Now for this one, you're gonna have to lift it up because we don't want to sew our pocket closed. So let me get this one clipped off, and then we'll start on the next one. Then in the end, we will clip off all our strings. Okay, I'm gonna show you one more, and then I'm gonna finish this off camera, and then we'll be able to move on. This is such a quick project, y'all. I'm gonna turn it, and I'm gonna go right along the edge. This will actually be great if you wanted to use this and use a fun fabric for like makeup brushes or something like that. This would be a great little thing to do for your makeup brushes. You just alter, alter the measurements just a tad. Okay. Go to the top and a back stitch. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to finish off the rest of the lines off camera, and then I will show you guys what is next. Okay, so I have sewed all the lines on to make all my little pockets, and I've got those all sewed down. I've already ironed where all the little lines that I drew on there has already disappeared. And now I'm going to cut myself a piece of ribbon, and I'm going to cut it about 18 to 20 inches long. And this is what I'm going to put over here, so I'll be able to tie a knot and close this up when I'm done. And I'm gonna place it like right here, and I'm gonna have it sticking off just a little bit over here. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to bump my tripod. But anyway, have it sticking out just a little bit. That way I can go ahead and be able to sew this down as well. I'm going to get that pinned down, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch that really fast, so that way when I sew my other top piece, nothing moves. So I'm going to get you over here. Move you up just a little bit, guys. Okay, there. Now I'm just going to take this and sew this down. Gonna sew this down. Okay, that way then when I go to sew the other piece on, nothing will move. It's gonna be great. Okay, so I've got that. I've got that sewed. Now I'm gonna take my other piece, I'm gonna lay it over the top, and I'm going to sew all the way around, leaving one small end where I can turn it inside out. So if you like, you can use your pins and you can pin just to kind of hold it in place. Gonna pin this down. Okay, so I've got my pins. I know it was kind of hard for y'all to see. I'm gonna make sure my ribbon is all curled up inside there because I don't want it to get stuck on the side. Now I'm going to decide where I want to start sewing, and I think that I'm gonna sew over here on this side right here to start. And I'm gonna leave my opening at this end. So I'm gonna line this up. I'm going to use my down feature, back stitch at the beginning and the end. I'm going to keep my fabric lined up. Let me get to the corners. Just going to pivot. Let me just make sure you guys can see y'all. Okay, I'm going to go nice slow down the bottom, sewing as straight as I can. I'll go ahead and pull this pin off. I grabbed myself a pin there, y'all. To the edge, pivot. I'm doing like a 1/4 inch seam allowance on the edge. Now I'm back to the beginning. I'm going to go down. I'm going to leave about a 3-inch opening, back stitch, and then I'm going to flip it inside out. Before I flip, I am going to clip my corners. It reduces bulk. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip this inside out. Here it comes. It's looking good. Stick your fingers up in here and pop out your corners. Get this corner, and then I'm going to press this down and do a top stitch. So it's looking like this. Now I'm going to take this to my ironing board and get it pressed down really well, and then do a top stitch so I can sew this end closed, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got it all pressed down. I'm going to start with my top stitch. And I've got the end that I flipped inside out. It's all nicely pressed where the fabrics are right in there where they need to be. I'm just gonna start, I think I'll start down here in the red. And I'm just gonna start here, just make my way all the way around, just doing a nice easy stitch around the edge. Use my down feature. Go up this side. Come on, get up there. It's stuck for me, y'all. Okay, and there we go. How easy was this, y'all? Simple, simple, simple. Now, let me get these threads trimmed and start putting our crayons in here. Okay, so here we are, y'all. So I'm gonna start adding in my crayons. I got a whole bunch of crayons in here. These are gonna fit perfectly down in the little pockets that I have sewed together. You can put crayons. You can add in some color pencils if you like. Just whichever you would like to do. This is great for traveling. Let's see here. Get my crayons. I already got one of those. One. You see how they're just fitting right in perfectly, y'all. And here we go, the last one. And there you go. So now our crayons are in. Like I said, if you wanted to use some color pencils, let me pull one of these out. You can put the color pencils. It's still going to fit perfectly inside here. And all you're going to do now is you're going to take it and you're going to roll it up. So you can be able to carry the crayons wherever you like. You're going to take your ribbon and you're going to tie a little bow. And voila, you got yourself a carrier for your crayons. It's a crayon roll. And y'all, look. It doesn't, your crayons are not going to fall out. There you go. Let me trim this off, make it nice and pretty. And voila, y'all. Then what you're gonna do is your child will take the crayons, or if you decide to put some of your own like art supplies in here, you know, you're just gonna have it be able to carry it perfectly, just like this, y'all. Pins, let's try a pin. Here we go. Pins are going to work in here as well. You don't have to do crayons. You can do pins. And yeah, you can carry all your art supplies in here, not just crayons. So it will be it has many uses. And yeah, it's pretty exciting, y'all. Pretty exciting. I'm pretty happy about this. I'm wondering if my scissors are going to fit. No, they'll be a little bit too tall, but your smaller scissors will probably work just fine going in here. But anyway, it's got lots of uses, y'all. And yeah, what do you think about this, y'all? It's pretty cute and very functional, and you'll be able to pick this up and go. So I'm going to roll this back up. And all you do is tie it closed. Okay, y'all, so what do you think? I hope you've enjoyed this quick little tutorial, and I hope that maybe if you sew, you will get this try. And if you don't sew but have a sewing machine, give it a try. You can't get any easier than this. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you guys soon.